Committee meeting to order. We do have a set of minutes for February the 6th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Would there be any public comment at this time? All right.
Don't have a finance report at this point. The trustee's office is still working on closing the books, but we've had a good chance to work with them and get to know Kenneth, and confident that things are moving in a good direction. So we can go straight into the budget amendment. First one is for the animal control purchase of the old road commission building for $500,000 and, well, 1.5 million, 3 annual installments of $500,000.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Is there a second?
I'm second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Comments, questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
The actual budget amendment for that is actually on the resolution behind that one. So I have one resolution to actually do the purchase and then a different resolution for the budget amendment. So I'm assuming they need to be approved separately, Mike, or is that one take care of both? Oh, the second one needs to be approved.
What's this?
The first one just set up terms of purchase, the second one last.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the next?
So moved.
Okay, and second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
And the next budget amendment is related to the same project. It is for up to $250,000 for design fees, including architect and engineering. That would be the total cost on, the resolution here says a total price not to exceed $3 million. So that would be what we would be out of pocket, regardless of whether we go forward with the building or not.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The last one for animal control is $4,000 being moved into other contracted services from the Gretchen Wilson Fund for a dog tag machine.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't know if Colin Farman is still in here or not on the next one, but on archives, Miss Linda Grandstaff is out right now, but she had asked to have 12,000 of her donations moved into other supplies and materials to print books.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments? All those approved? Opposed?
The next one is for county buildings. They need $7,500 for communications, basically for running cameras, fiber network connection at Mount Juliet Courthouse Expo and the new maintenance shop.
Well, I don't know. I thought we
We-
did last one.
We did,
Right.
but I don't think we had. I have to go back and look. I thought, according to, and Robert was here earlier too, we didn't approve these through budget, we approved these through
Buildings.
new buildings.
Yeah, I know we, but then we met again.
Approved through public buildings. but
That's right, before.
There's under the 48 hours.
You're right.
I
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And the next one is moving money from fund balance and capital projects into asphalt for reseal and stripe 12 county parking lots.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor? Any opposed?
The next two are for debt issues that were done after the budget was done. So this one, I believe, was in August. It was the multi-level court system. So when we passed the budget, we didn't go back and do a budget amendment for the principal and interest payment. So that's what you're seeing.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You just do both of those together?
No, sir, just one. And then the second one was for Central Pike Elementary, the principal and interest payment on the Central Pike Elementary School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one's for planning, requesting the funds be moved for director and new employee, and I know part of this was paying Tom out his accrued leave.
So moved.
And we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next one is for the sheriff's department, taking money out of in-service staff development and into travel.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one also for the sheriff, requesting $350,000 from medical and dental services coming out of the fund balance.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one also for the sheriff, $90,000 coming out of the general fund balance for other salaries and wages to cover jail overtime.
Motion to approve.
Second comment.
Have a motion and a second. Comments?
Aaron, do we need to make this as listed as one-time occurrence for this?
We can, so in other words, you don't want this to carry forward.
Correct.
All right.
A year ago, we made that decision not to do that anymore.
So on a specific budget amendment, and so you'll have to refresh my memory of exactly what we're referring to. I remember coming to the budget committee because once I develop the budget, in other words, this coming week, in fact, we're going to send out the budget worksheets, and they're going to start doing the status quo budgets, and then I'm going to bring those back to you. And at that point in time, I had cut off the budget amendments being continued at that point, which was causing a lot of problems because people were coming in April, May, and June with budget amendments that they needed to be recurring that weren't making their way into the budget. And I was coming back to y'all saying, would y'all please approve these? And y'all said, well, didn't we? Yes, but you did after we had sort of cut that process off. So that's what I'm familiar with. But if you ask me on a one-time budget amendment to make it non-recurring, or if you ask me on any specific budget amendment to make it non-recurring, I can do that.
Well,
That's what needs to be done.
If we're going to award 90,000, we're awarding it from now on, the way you're doing it. If you're putting it in their budget.
Yes.
And you're going around this committee in the process.
I don't think I'm going around your committee, sir, but that's however you guys want to do it. I just want you to understand you're going to see 5 times as many budget amendments as you do now, if you don't want any of these to stay in the budget.
Right?
Okay,
Got a job.
all right. Well, so from now on, any budget amendment that's done will be reversed. So they will not have a continuation budget based on what their budget was the prior year.
Exactly. And if we need to change it, we can change it in the next request.
Because if we add this 90,000, we're adding it to that line and it's gonna be reoccurring, so it's showing, so that really, that ups that budget line.
It does.
And that's something that
And
we,
then I account for it in turn back money that comes right back and everything comes out.
sometimes, right?
All the time. That's why you never wind up in the red.
I still wanna keep it, or make it at least one time
Sure.
in this
Well,
one.
Aaron, let me ask this, what's keeping us from, if you took it from the, salary line item they're not using right now?
You can. It's a memory game. Which card do I flip over? I flip this one over, I flip this one over. Now I gotta remember to flip this 90 back and put this 90 back over here. It's just a memory game.
But if you took it out of the salary line item to begin with, then you wouldn't have to worry about that, would you?
Yeah, I'd still have to remember to put it back in the salary line I took it out of,
Okay.
which is fine. I mean, we'll do it however,
Well,
whatever. You guys get to set the rules on how the budget gets done. I just have to follow.
What's the simplest?
What he's doing.
What we're doing is, but
I
that's
guess
okay.
anyway.
Okay. That was just a question, it's not a motion.
Because putting the money in there, we get it back because we don't spend the extra funds that he's not spending, like he said a while ago. When we give him the status quo budget, is the 90 added to that?
It's in there, when he goes to do his budget, it's his overtime budget as of the date that basically we create that spreadsheet. That's his continuation budget.
And do you need that?
Well, I know
In
in
this case?
excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I know there's been a couple of ones in the past that y'all have mentioned that the one-time thing, and it's fine. That's fine with me. One-time thing, and if I need money next year, well, I'll be here.
And I thought that's what we were doing here, Robert, it's nothing against your office, I mean, it's any department, it's, but when we add it, if we add it in and it's reoccurring, there'll be 90,000 laying there that you may not need for overtime next year.
That's why I said you might or may or not.
But we're in the habit of taking care of what you need, or as far as that goes, any of our departments. And we just need to handle it on that basis, I think.
I think y'all make the rules on that one.
And what problems is that?
Oh, it's just gonna be an adjustment for everybody. Your needs list is gonna get 2 to 3 times as big, number one, because, everything that's basically being handled during the year won't be handled. It'll be reversed. So whatever happens during the year, like he needs money, like the chances are the money that he's getting for food, chances are his food budget is not going down with it. So basically now, instead of his budget being able to handle that because he's increased it during the year, he's gonna need to put that on the needs list. And you put that across 40 or 50 different departments who do budget amendments. And basically, they're all gonna have to ask for a lot more stuff than what they normally would have to ask for.
We look at the way we do it, so it's like the one-time vehicles would be, that makes sense to not do that.
Sure.
Because he ain't gonna buy me.
Absolutely, no.
And the food probably makes sense to leave it in there because if he's short on food this year, he'll be short on food next year.
And that will make sense
I've been
to me.
short on food the past 3 or 4 years.
And that just keeps going up. But like on employee line where he's right, he's putting it overtime because he's not having people to fill these positions, and that one gets kind of fat, so that would be the.
Well, let me counter that just for a second. When's the last year he didn't come ask for overtime?
But his overtime though is because he can't. fill
It
his
makes no
positions.
difference. He still comes and asks for overtime.
I got that, but I'm saying that money comes back in a wash, and overtime,
Yeah.
my employee line stays the same.
Yeah,
That
you
would be
can take
the
it,
only way.
you can take it from one employee line to the other, but he's never gonna not come ask for medical. He's never gonna not come ask for overtime. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and I think those are legal.
Except for overtime.
Because you said the overtime was based on the fact that you had to pay people overtime because you didn't have employees filling those 8 or 10 positions, right?
That, I did reference the open positions, yes. So, but in the same, as Aaron said, every year I've come and asked for overtime.
He's never not asked for overtime.
And I think I've heard Aaron say it before, there's 3 things: food, medical costs, and overtime is pretty much what I come ask for.
And you're not just giving overtime out to
It's
yourself,
coming
giving
every
it out.
year is what we're accomplishing by making it reoccurring. But
You just have to do it less.
we're just changing the number.
Mhm.
I don't see a problem with doing it the way we're recommending it.
I'm not arguing against you.
It seems like it. I apologize, but it seems like it.
It's just something everybody has to adjust to. It's doable. It's just something everybody has to adjust to.
Yeah, my conversation was just simply about not having to have more needs on my needs list, take them as we could on things that didn't need to be brought back to me. There's some things that, let's go ahead and do it now, because at the end of the day, that's what we're gonna have. Because we're gonna ask you to come back with a status quo budget. And if we take these things back out, that status quo budget, then my needs list just grows.
But see, in my mind, we had on a reoccurring basis, we're not on status quo budget any longer.
We're not-
That's what my basis is for federal, that's right.
And I remember last year.
You said,
because
I mean,
we
I thought we
last year.
settled this last year.
Because towards the end of the year, people come and adjust those budgets, and then that grows their budget
Yeah.
without going through the budget process.
Correct.
That's what you're saying back
Correct.
there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I had made the exact same point in the opposite direction last year, basically saying we were cutting it off at a certain point, and then people were coming back complaining that, well, I got, y'all passed that for me back in May. Yeah, but that was after we had basically cut off the budget process.
And I think do this too, give us some guidance on each one of these as they come through over the next little bit. If you think they need to stay, then I think you need to let us know, and if we make that decision then, we make that decision then, we can make it then, make it during budget time. If you think it needs to stay, then let us know that.
No, I mean, for now, we'll just basically we'll reset everybody's budget back to what it was, in 1/1 of 24, or 7/1 of 24, excuse me. We'll reset everybody's budget back to what it was 7/1/24 when they're doing their status quo budgets. And they can deal with it from there.
Thank you.
You're gonna have a lot more needs this year,
Yeah.
Next one.
Wait, hang on.
We ain't done on it.
Sorry, we didn't
You
vote.
got a motion on the floor, and I'm not real sure of what we decided.
Well, I'm about the same way.
Motion to approve, but make this as one time.
Well, Diane made the motion, and you seconded it, now y'all need to tell me what your motion, what you wanted to
No, I
say.
didn't, he did, and he did. It came from over there. Oh, I was trying to approve it, I was trying to approve it. You wanna start over?
Whatever y'all wanna do, I'll work for
And
you.
then you said comment, and your comment was,
Was
You
that-
seconded and said,
Correct.
second comment.
yes, that's true.
I'm not arguing.
Made a motion.
Right.
And I'm right on that too.
Do you-
Motion.
Do you accept, so he's adding something to the motion, do you accept it?
Let me make a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
Let's approve this one. And then y'all come back and make a motion as to what you want to apply across the board.
Next
Will
month.
apply.
Next month. Because it'd be a separate resolution, because we're talking about change of policy, we're not talking about this one. So let this one go
That's
just like
the same
it is, and then come back and change of policy next month, if they want to do that.
And go, and you can, I guess, can go retroactive then.
Actually, do it tonight, because we got budget worksheets coming out probably this coming week.
It's not on the
You're
agenda.
gonna have to declare that.
It's not on the agenda, that's true.
Yeah, no, that's why I said come back next month, it's not on the agenda.
And then Aaron's gonna come back saying, I need another helper in the office.
No, I'll be all right.
All it was, so the motion is to approve this. All I had asked was to make this only just one time.
So you wanna make this particular one time? You can do that.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not a new
Yeah.
motion.
Okay.
All
It's
in
just
favor,
applying to this one.
Correct.
Okay.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
All right, now, y'all help me a little bit. How do what does the resolution wording need to say?
Basically, I think, you're talking about not this, but the one
This,
we're talking
no,
about.
what I'm gonna put is a resolution approving this.
One-time appropriation into the sheriff's department for other salaries and wages, or something to that effect. It'll be one
Okay,
time.
so just add the phrase one time.
Mhm. Non-recurring, either non-recurring or one
So
time.
that's what you'll do going forward, Max, what you're saying.
Well, just do it on this one, yeah.
If you did that now resolution, that would
It
solve
was
the
the,
problem.
I'll do all of them that y'all tell me.
So we need to do it on an individual basis.
That's what we gotta do tonight, because the mayor said across the board is not on the agenda. But you can make it.
That's what I was saying a while ago, is when you think it needs to be a one time, that's a one time, it needs to be two, at least let's have a discussion about, oh, we don't want to do that, we're not getting that way.
Yeah,
I just have a question about the policy that you're talking about that wasn't on the agenda. being that the budget workshop, or worksheets are going out next week, would that be classed as emergent? In that it affects something that's happening?
I think what I'm gonna try to do, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
exactly how I'm gonna do it, is regardless of the policy, when they go out this time, I'm gonna try to make them go out, like I said, where everybody's budget is reset to 7/1/24. And then, we'll go from there.
That's the way it should be.
Next one, Aaron.
Let's see, food supplies, 180,000 from the general fund balance.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions, comments?
Everything's gonna be one time, without them even saying.
Okay.
That's one time, good.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right.
Was that for better for you?
Last one from the sheriff's department, other salaries and wages of 80,000, additional funds needed to cover patrol and detective overtime.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Questions, comments? All in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask all of them at one time?
Everyone,
Everything from every.
Last three.
in fact, everything you passed all year long this week.
No, you hadn't done that here, but it is for
It's
your
what's
purpose,
gonna
that's what you're gonna do. Yeah, whatever you send out, we gotta deal with,
Yeah.
but it's not minutes,
Now,
whatever, I don't know.
are they doing that for every?
I get the same thing no matter.
That's what I like bad.
I'm not throwing in the towel.
Let's see.
Trustee.
Trustee, yep, money for, adding money for postage and for maintenance and repairs. Some coming from fund balance and some, coming from his building improvement.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Comments? All those approve? Disapprove?
He's quit us,
They
baby.
getting weak on.
Well, there's a lot of them, I understand. Let's see. WEMA coming in, their salary supplement money, receiving it and putting it into a spendable line.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comment? Those in favor? Opposed?
And the next one, the budget amendment, and behind it, the grant for the Homeland Security.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments? Those in favor? Any opposed?
Next one for WEMA is reporting proceeds from the sale of the 1995 Freightliner tanker and putting that into their vehicle maintenance line.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments?
And then I'll go ahead and let Lisa take care of the school stuff, because I think everything else in here is pretty much surplus property.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Budget Amendment 2025-10. First, reallocating the tutoring budget due to the need of parent need English drivers, transporting children after school, so we're putting that into the regular instruction equipment line item. We received a donation for the backpack program. Report a budget for the CEO supplement that they have approved to pay. Purchase of new paging systems, we're just basically moving that from their regular instruction line item to the communication equipment line item. And then moving money from fund balance for the additional costs for the Mount Juliet High School roof top unit replacement.
Have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Still need to do the West Source and the other stuff. But
It's gotta go back to the beginning.
Education did tonight, recommend you come here.
I thought we decided that we just approved it and it's already in their hands. So it's not like it's, bond money.
I'm fine as long as we don't have to have those rules. If we need one, then y'all need to see.
I thought, Mayor, is that what you said?
I think we're just coming back and asking for your permission. No resolution needed according to Ashley. The bond was appropriated for the West Wilson Middle School, and within the bond, the money was allowed. He had some left over, and he said it was okay to do the design of Lakeview Elementary. And so education said they were okay with that. I would think that we would need to say, hey, we're okay with you doing that, but you don't need a budget amendment to move anything, so the money stays right where it's at. But it would be good if this body probably approved, it's okay for you to do that, because we just kind of said to them, or tennis courts, if you got money left over, don't go spend it somewhere without letting us know. And that's what he's doing, that's all he's doing. And asked him, said he was legal to do so.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we need to do anything with the, anything else?
Surplus,
What stuff?
yeah, we have several pages of surplus in there.
It all from,
It's from various departments. So the first one that I see in there is the health department. You can, and then county building.
Yes, second.
Let me, your motion needs to be the things to be destroyed. Destroy the things that are asked to be destroyed and sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say that.
so there's a motion to approve all list with understanding that what needs to be destroyed will be destroyed, what needs to be sold will be sold. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have two things to ask you. First one is, William Bradford with United Communications that we gave ARP money to, if you remember, has a little bit of that money left over. He would like to make sure it was okay with you, if we need to do any resolutions and it needs to be an item of business, it can come back next month. But he has what's called a BEAD grant that he can apply for, and he gets points if counties join in with him. And so if he can say that some of that ARP money was county money going in towards that grant, he would get points to get that, to make him eligible. That grant is a pretty high grant, but I think it's quite a bit of money for them. Again, everything would go in Wilson County, but does anybody see an issue with that? I told you it was his money, he's come and reported, but, you know, that before I could write a letter saying, you know, we're okay with that, I probably need to run that by the budget committee.
Is that acceptable the way we get the money there? I mean, they don't hold it.
I think it would be, Tony. I can't.
It came with restrictions, of course.
Yeah, I mean.
Which they didn't know.
Exactly, exactly.
So we'll do this, double check and make sure it's okay, and then if I need to bring a resolution back next month, I'll do that.
Okay.
Second thing, just as a discussion, you know, we talked about asking for tonight some direction reviews. We talked about the pay plan. If you remember, the steering committee, wanted to be, or we put the steering committee involved with the pay plan. They looked at it, kept 16 steps, 2% between each step, pretty much kept everything in there and approved that plan. Then as, they sent us forth to see what they wanted, they asked two things that they approved, that they said we need to go forth with. One was giving tenure to the people for the time that they're in the current job that they're in and apply that to the step system. And the second thing would be to give the table adjustment of whatever the market is, and the market was 10%. So both of those items come back to about 9.1 million. So we look at that, and the steering committee said that's what they would like to recommend. So There was some discussion in that meeting about, some people saying, well, that revenue, could we find it? Me and Aaron had looked, quite a bit to see if we could come up with that without a revenue being, have to be raised, and we can't get all the way there. So in my conversation with Mike a little bit and, talking with Kiana and Beth, they said, okay, so do we go out and we present the 10% table increase and the tenure prices to the department heads and elected officials, and we're not for sure if the full commission is going to back that. We know the steering committee has recommended. So my conversation with Mike, he said that we just, as we started talking, that probably, I don't need to make that call on my own, so I thought I wanted to ask you, do you want me to go forward with that and then let the commission decide whatever they want to decide on that night? Or are you saying, hey, I don't think we ought to do that, we probably need to do something different? So that's what I did. I knew I was gonna ask you tonight, so I called you on Monday, each one of the individuals, and said, hey, this is what I'm gonna bring forth, so that you could have some type of time to think about it, maybe call your commissioners, and so that's what I really need to know. Do you want me to move forward with a plan, that the steering committee, suggested we go forth with? If I get your approval to do that, we'll go forth, and then it'll come to the floor, when it comes budget time.
Can you give us a cost breakdown?
I can. The tenure piece, to not raise the table at all, and let the market step stay at 8, and the slot, all employees based on the chart or on the table at the current years of experience of where they are is 3.1 million, $120,902. The next thing that was suggested is a 10% table increase. So the 10% table increase is 5.1 million, 5.101. This will affect all employees, of course. So when you look at the tenure part added to that, that's what brings it to 9.1. That does include benefits as well.
And this is on top of the 2%.
The 2% it is, and the 2% will be added into this piece here. Yeah, but the 2% we've left that aside. So if you say, hey, we don't want to do nothing, the 2% is going to go no matter what.
Yeah.
We haven't counted that in. That's money set aside out of your growth money. Yes.
Okay. But what I'm asking, so if we say yes to this, is the 2% rolled into this?
Yes.
So it'd be 11 or?
12.
Well, okay, so
Just the money would be used.
the additional, right, so the 9.2 or whatever is the money over and above than what's needed to cover the 2% step. The 2% step is already covered.
Yes. Because everybody has to move one step. That's going to happen no matter what. The 10% raise in the chart is a cost of 5.1, and then put people in tenure is 3.1.
So just for clarification, the tax increase of how much are in the fund, the
13 to 15 cents.
13 to 15 cents.
And that is just for employee pay. That's not for any other thing.
That would not
That's
add
for-
anything, right, anything else that people wanted to put with that would be extra. I'm only answering the question related to pay.
Sure. That's a question for the public.
What are some other possible options besides not doing it at all?
So the only way I was gonna come back, if you told me not to do that, I could come back next month, or Aaron could probably tell you what we've worked up so far, if you wanna do that. Because we tried to reach the 9.1, we couldn't get all the way there. Do you wanna talk about that?
Well, looked at what we felt safe in. These things are not gonna make anybody happy. But again, that's just the way it is. So we looked at taking some interest income from Fund 151. I don't feel good about banking on backing a big chunk of this with that, because we've been in low interest rates, now we're in highest interest rates. I don't know, I need more time with them to get comfortable with them. But I just pulled $1.5 million of interest from Fund 151, moved it over to the general fund, in theory, okay? Recapture 400,000 in hotel motel tax back from the ag center. Okay, increase the judge's tax where it would bring in another $400,000. I think we had mentioned that during one of the budget workshops, that there was a tax that was designed to cover the judge's salary. And then the remaining money left over based on growth being about the same as it was last year, there's another about 1.13 million. If we don't give anybody a penny in needs, that's $3,430,000.
So that piece there could do the 10-year piece, couldn't do the 10%. If you went that route, then you would probably have to tell Joy and the sheriff, you know, hey, if you can't hire people where the table's at right now, give them the flexibility to move their starting to maybe step 2 or step 3. You could do that. That's one option we talked about. You could split that possibly, half percent on the table, half percent on tenure, but probably it's easier to just do one or the other. That's in 3.4, you don't have enough to do the 10% table. That's why the
How
10
much,
piece.
what percent would that do?
So when you say about 5, if you didn't do any tenure, if you ignored tenure and just adjusted the table, since the total cost of adjusting the table is a little over 6, then 3.4 would do about 5.
Okay,
But you would have to ignore tenure.
yeah. Couple of times tonight, insurance has come up. Is there a concern there?
There is.
I do not want to take anything away from employees. Of course, I want to give them something. I don't want to take anything away from them. But if we did the 5%, if we went forward, told the mayor, said, okay, go ahead and present this to everybody. We're going to give you 5%. And how's that going to work out? I think, is that going to have a possible negative impact on insurance?
Somehow or another, the insurance situation is going to have to be addressed. Now, we're working on addressing it through trying to negotiate with specific hospitals, different providers. You know, at the end of the day, I don't really hold out a lot of hope for that being the solution. I think the solution ultimately is going to be the claims of the claims, and you either fund them or you shift them. Which, when I say shift them, that means the employee bears more of the cost. Those are your options.
Just
In
to
all
give you,
likelihood.
just to give you an update on the insurance talks. So the sheriff's talk is separate from our insurance talks. He's got the 40%. We're gonna try to push tomorrow to make sure that Scott and Carver can get that back to us and iron out the details that Mike talked about, be done with that part. Those costs are probably still gonna go up. Ours is that we've kind of gone in the hole the last couple of years. When we say in the hole, we paid more out than we normally do. And so we had meeting upon meeting with Cigna, and Judd and Nave, and then with THW to say, where's this $2 million at? You know, where's it going? Is it Vanderbilt's, you know, higher on their charges? And of course, when we look at our charges, it's not just Vanderbilt. We have Vanderbilt charges, Summit's in there, St. Thomas. We have a lot of them. Vanderbilt gets most of our business. So we met with them and looked at them and said, hey, have you gone up on us? But Cigna and Judd, which is separate from St. Thomas, separate from Vanderbilt, says they can't find anything. It's not, hey, they just started charging more money for knee surgeries and that kind of stuff. We've looked at several different things with that, but we really haven't found the golden egg. And so Commissioner McFarland said, hey, let's go meet with Dr. Rob Pinson. And because he's the top guy there, and see if he could do anything to it. We've had conversations about they don't pay property tax. Can we get some money back in lump sum there? Could they float some of that back to help make some of the deficit? So anyway, so I've met with him once or twice, and he's working on, okay, let me look at your numbers and see what's going on. So we're supposed to meet with him next week at some point. or the week after, one of the two, and he's gonna kind of give us a rundown there to see if we can do anything to adjust this insurance cost, but we didn't find it with Cigna, we didn't find it with Joe. So, and we didn't find the smoking gun there, but, so that's about all I can tell you on that.
So you're saying if you take those funds that you just mentioned and we went ahead with a 5% pay raise for employees,
I'm
then that-
saying, I think while we're working this out, if we needed to, because we know we have more interest income in 151, and I'm not, please understand, I'm not pitching this as a permanent solution, I'm pitching this as a Band-Aid.
yeah,
As a Band-Aid, if you needed to move money over into the insurance fund to get you through, you have some in the general fund balance, you have some interest income in 151 that you can move to basically get you through while you're negotiating, while you're trying to fix the problem. Your only other choice, again, is to, if you're gonna increase funding, you either do nothing on pay and do everything for insurance, or, I mean, you don't have a lot of choices here.
but what I start saying,
Yeah.
if we did that, 5% and made sure we were taking care of our insurance fund, then our money for growth money would be gone.
There are a couple of things that are out there, in the legislature that we could make some money on this time. One of them would be the transfer taxes out there, which seem to have some promise. The next thing, which maybe we're waiting a little bit on schools, but some excess lottery money that's hopefully may come back for K-12 schools that we could move money that we had designated there into something else for definitely on capital projects part, because we put so much aside each year for that. So those are two things that I know are on the move right now for extra revenue.
Tom, you have something?
Another one comment I'd like to make, I don't know whether I need to make it as an employee of the county or a member of the budget committee, but trying to find those savings that you're talking about are a wonderful idea. But I've seen that tried for many, many years and just confirmed that's a real far-reaching hope.
Sure.
Healthcare costs rise yearly in this country. That's a given fact. We don't budget yearly to increase what we put in to support the employees' insurance. But you just named $1.5 million worth of interest right now we can be putting in that direction. Speaking as an employee, see, I don't know how I feel. I need my insurance for any raise. So it's probably not something I need to vote on openly, but I think there's, most of your employees are gonna feel the same way.
I even thought about, and probably shouldn't say, but I even thought about, given the choice, basically we have a third tier on the insurance. It's a $3,000 deductible, $7,000 individual out of pocket, $12,000 family out of pocket. It's a far cry from what that whole group has.
I guess the question for that is, how soon will that begin?
Well, not fast enough, because it's only got 124 people in it. So the question would be, which is, again, don't shoot me for thinking it. The question would be, do you want to move on tenure, or do you want to basically keep the insurance plan you got? Because if you want to stay where you are, I've got to divert that money that way. But again, we've got stopgap measures for if we need them for a short period of time. They're not permanent fixtures for the insurance fund. But if we needed to Band-Aid it for a little while, we can Band-Aid.
Back to my original comment, this is a problem that's always been existing and it's always going to exist. Healthcare costs rise annually. If we don't address it annually or somewhat annually, we'll always have a problem. It's not going away, it's not going to improve itself. I wish we would maybe consider that being a thought as much as the pay plan is at this point. Now, our employees certainly need raises. I don't want to sound like I don't want to give raises. But if we don't, many years ago, we came close to losing our health insurance. And I hate to see us get back in that type of shape.
The
Be
thing,
forward thinking instead of trying to put Band-Aids on it, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, the thing that concerns me is the Band-Aid statement, because it's pay me now or pay me later. I mean, we're gonna have to, somebody, maybe not me, but somebody's gonna have to, this commission, future commission is gonna have to address this sooner or later. And to take care of our employees, their pay, and I know their pay's better now than it has been in a long time. And they've got a pretty good insurance program. But this is, county government has to be progressive. It can't be stagnant. It's gonna have to move on and make, and do things to ensure that our people are taken care of. And, and it's gonna take, the thing is, it's gonna take money. And there's not that very many places that the money's gonna come from except a property tax. And, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, get mad at me if you want to, but if you vote against the property tax to make sure you get elected in a couple of years, I just think that's a mistake. That tells me you don't care about the people that part of these people that you represent.
100%.
Amen.
So I'll quit preaching, I'll hush, but I can only go by the will of the committee and, to move on from here, or do we have to decide anything tonight? To give you an idea of which direction to go from here, or what? What do you need?
We just felt like if we went and talked to different people out there about what the 10-year numbers are gonna be and what the 10% is gonna be, that would be exciting, and they would get excited about that, that only come back and you tell us we're not gonna do it. So that's why I thought, okay, let's see if we're all together on this, and, before we move forward. We can still we can still move forward with what the steering committee had suggested. We can do that, in the end, let the chips fall where they may at the budget time. So,
But if we go on with that, and then Monday week, or whenever, we vote on this, I mean, it doesn't go, then our employees are gonna be very upset with us.
and so, just the history, what we've done always in the past is we normally would look and see what we had to try to bring that to you, and that's what we would give them. And then if you wanted to do more, we let you do more. And we did some figures today, because I think you guys have done quite a bit. Not as much as you wanted to, I got that, but when you look from 2012 to 2024, just the raises that you give them, because they compound annually. They're not like debt. They compound $119 million is what you've given to employees, which compounded annually for the last, since 2012, for the last 12 years. So we've still not enough. We gotta keep up, so like insurance going up. So you have done that part, but that's what we normally bring. We haven't been in this boat before where we said, hey, look, we put it out there before we come, so that's why that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I'll do whatever you direct me to do, just wanted to make sure before I go, I had your back.
Okay, y'all, I've done all the talking. I'd like to hear from some of the rest of you.
So what you're saying is that pretty much it's gonna take a 13 to 15 cent property tax increase to make this happen.
If it matters to you, basically you're talking about your tax rate going from 1.9089 to 2.0589 on the average home price in Wilson County right now, which is $478,000 in change. You're talking about an annual increase in property tax of $180, if it matters to you.
I guess I got a question. What about our teachers?
Mr. Butcher can speak to that. I know he's worked it for the last 2 years at 5%.
I'm telling you, I've done about all I can do. we'll get a state mandate. Here's what I'm gonna say, I think my record will prove I will work with this commission. But I just mentioned maintenance needs, and I got building needs. And I will tell you, if you're gonna do a property tax, we wanna be at the table
Mhm.
to take care of some needs. And I know that's not popular, and I'm not promoting property tax, I'm willing to work with this commission. But I do not think, this is just my opinion, that you Band-Aid it, take care of one group. I heard another group saying, oh, they need more.
So that,
That's all I can say. I don't want, if you're gonna do a property tax now, everybody needs to get to the table.
Absolutely.
All of us being in it together.
I agree.
Because if you don't, then I'm gonna be back here in 2 years, or somebody's gonna be back here in 2 years saying, we gotta build more schools. And it's gotta be, in my opinion, this county's gotta decide what they're doing. And get everybody on board. And I know, and I don't like property taxes. But there's only one way to raise revenue, and that's what it is.
So pretty much that 15 cents is gonna go up, possibly could be double or more. And I guess the question in this room is who's willing to up property taxes at the end of the day?
Well, who's gonna be the ringleader in this?
Right.
I need to know where everybody stands too, because everybody's promoting, you know, that, and I'm with them, I like the employees and all that stuff, but who's gonna be at the forefront I mean, this mayor, are you for the employees getting a raise, I guess, is technically they're your employees. So, are you?
They're yours as well. But I will say this about, it's not easy to raise revenue. I agree with you 100%. And I do believe that we've been good stewards of our money. We have tried to manage, we've raised taxes 2 times in 15 years because we've played by the game that says we got $1.90 on the tax rate. You guys set aside 66 cents for the general fund. And about 75 to 80% of that is employee pay. It's about $72 million. You set aside 16 cents to go to general debt for us to build multi-level court systems and that kind of stuff. And we've lived within our means there too. I've never brought you one thing of a school or anything else that required a tax increase. We've lived within that. You've kind of grown out of the 66 cents. Now, some people say to me, well, Mayor, you won't raise taxes unless it's for education or buildings. I disagree, because I think our employees are just as important for a tax increase as anything. That'd be like me telling Mr. Luttrell, we can't give your employees, we can't build school buildings, but we'll give you some money for your employees. The employees are no good to me if they ain't got nowhere to put the kids. I ain't got no, I gotta have a place to put courts and wheel stations and jails. I mean, those things just, they grow and they exist too. So with the employees, you say, well, they won't raise taxes for employees. I disagree again, because we did it with the sales tax. Put the sales tax out there and said, hey, the teachers are there, you vote yes or no. They voted yes. So when it comes to standalone and raise taxes for employee pay, I don't think it's any different than raising it for buildings, or raising it for education. Do we want to raise taxes? You know, nobody wants to do that. That's what we've done our best to live in the last 15 years and say, hey, let's do it the least amount of time possible. But there is a day, and you're right, the last time we did it was 35 cents. And we got 8 cents for Global Medical School, and 8 cents for employees, and 8 cents for teachers, and 2 cents for WEMA. I mean, everybody will be at the table. I mean, I've sat here for this long of a time, and I've built plenty of buildings and plenty of pay, and done one thing for roads. Ain't widened the county road yet. And the only thing, and so I know that that's something that needs to be done, but no other county is raising and building roads either. Williams and Summer, they ain't, because there's no money allotted for that there. Now, that's what we hope the transfer taxes has got a little bit of spill on it, that if they give us that money back, we put it to roadways. And that was the deal in the lottery money going towards schools. But, you know, we've always had lots of needs. We've always just tried to juggle and be good stewards. I'm not really answering your question, but what I'm saying is that the employees are just as important as education, as buildings. And if it comes to a time where we have to do that, then we don't have, I mean, sometimes you have to pay the piper, and and I hate it.
And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But here's the thing. You throw it out there that we're gonna raise the taxes for employees, now we've made them the bad guy.
Well, I think they're not the bad guy because they're a valuable asset to this county. We don't get anything done if I don't have them. They're
You-
just as important.
Right, but you and I know that. But the people out in the community, when this is all said and done, you gotta go face them. The employees are gonna give you a pat on the back. They're gonna give you a kick in the butt. I can promise you that.
The citizens won't like a tax increase on me either one, no matter what we raise it on. They'll still feel up there. I don't have no doubt that they'll do that. But they looked at teacher pay and said, I'm gonna vote yes. I mean,
Right.
because I think it's the importance of that. I mean, they don't want, I mean, somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, what if my county, if I raise county tax, I don't have my citizens, my city citizens. And I just sat down and said, I mean, I think it does because all those city people come pay their taxes at the trustee's office. They record all their property at the register of deeds office. They drive on our county roads. They go to all of our schools. They use our convenience centers if they want to.
How's our inmates?
Do what?
How's our inmates?
Yeah, they, yeah. So, and I would love to say, you know, that there's no wrecks, but I mean, these people in the city don't just have wrecks in the city, they have on county roads too, so IEMS people are gonna go take care of them there. Our fire trucks are gonna take care of them there as well. I mean, so, I mean, and give me 2 more seconds here.
Okay.
Yeah, SROs are there, and then I don't think we have city courts, I think all the courts happen with us, right? They have some city courts, right? But a lot of our traffic court, but all those citizens in the county go to our courts. So, I mean, I think, yeah, I think county employees
Okay.
are working there.
But we're bringing everybody to the table on that 35 cent. You said it was 180, is that what you said, $180 for the 15, so you double that. And now you're paying $9 for a carton of eggs, and all of these people don't have any money, so you're fixing to really hit their pockets.
And
It's
I-
just a bad year, that's what I'm saying.
And I understand that.
But no year's a good year.
A few months ago, we sat and said we had plenty of money and built an $84 million courthouse. We're gonna tell we're gonna have to tell our employees, that's where we knew we was coming to this spot when we did that, when we made that decision that night. We knew that.
But I'm gonna counter you on that because that's 84 million over 20 years and you borrowed the money for that. And we stayed within the money you set aside in the 16 cents out of the property tax for debt service. We didn't raise taxes for that. That's money you already have allotted for that. And you wouldn't, I mean, and I wouldn't have brought it to you, waited 6 years to bring it to you. I can't look at judges when I got courtrooms full and say, forget you, we don't need it. But I couldn't take 84 million, I could take the 84 million there and put it for employees.
We
It's
took
borrowed.
30 million and paying for interest.
Do what now?
We're putting, the 30 million we're paying on bonds.
Over 20 years. Yeah, I mean, there's no question right now that 72 million a year go out for employee pay, and how much was 27 million go out for debt service? So you're paying 27 million out for debt for your bonds of all of your buildings that you're building, and you're paying 72 million out every year for employees. Like, there's no question that our employees get the bulk of our money. I mean, I mean, not to argue with it, I'm just saying that if we hadn't built the judicial center, you're gonna be sitting in the same boat. It ain't gonna change for you. I can't take that money and give it to my employees, what I'm saying. And that's a false, that's a fallacy if you can say, hey, well, if we didn't build that judicial center, we'd be sitting here today. Bull crap, you're gonna be sitting here today because there's no money allotted for that. I mean, I'm just being honest.
What
I
if,
think the
go ahead.
reality is to whatever the cause is, we are out of money.
Yeah.
And we can't build anything further. We cannot pay our employees anything further until we step to the plate and say, we're gonna have to raise property tax. And everybody has said in the past, you're not gonna get reelected if you raise property tax. Well, it was done 8 years ago. Was anybody not reelected to the commission at that point that didn't wanna be? There's probably a couple, but I doubt it was because of property tax. We're gonna have to do the hard thing. Do I wanna pay extra taxes? No. But for this county to improve, for us to have the best employees that we can have, to where they're not going to Rutherford County, they're not going to Sumner County, they're staying in Wilson County, we are gonna have to step to the plate and ask people to pay more. Plain and simple.
I'm gonna follow up question. We just had this huge conversation about our insurance fund being at a crisis point for the county. what does schools insurance fund look like? What are you guys thinking?
We will be
That you need for
into, we've been
insurance?
into.
Right, well, that's what I wanna know. Where are you with
What
that?
are we giving currently per employee?
We're giving 8,615.
And we're looking at going to probably 10.
Our next budget amendment will be moving 3 million from fund balance to help, because we're losing money in that. So we'll probably have to go to at least 2,000 more unemployed this next year.
I've got an idea, don't stone me. What about a one-time bonus, like we did this last year that you brought up?
No.
I'm just asking,
It's
listen,
another Band-Aid.
I'm asking a
Throw a
question.
block at him.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it's another Band-Aid.
We get the 10%.
It's just passing the buck to next year and we're having the same conversation again.
I want to comment on that. I know everybody did, but I had people stop me and said, I spent my $300 or $400 one weekend. They want a raise if they want, you know, what I think.
And then do your plus too.
You can't recruit off
Don't
these bonuses.
And it may not happen to us right away. I just like to carry those of you that were here in office back to 21, 22, when for the first time ever we were shutting down wing stations and people weren't responding to our ads. Okay? That may not happen to us in 2026. It may not happen to us in 2027, but if we don't address it, it will happen to us. I asked Director Cooper a few weeks ago, because during budget time, I didn't have any indication that we had employment problems. Nobody was telling me. I asked Sheriff Bryan the same thing, and they said, no, going into that budget year, we had no indication at all that people were gonna stop responding to our ads. But all of a sudden, they did.
There's a lot of people sitting at home making more money sitting at home than they can get coming to work too, Mary.
Well, let's pray.
I really believe sincerely that was part of our problem in this country.
Let's pray that that's the case.
You can turn on the news and see that.
Okay, my question to the committee, I guess, at this point in time is what kind of guidance do we need to give the mayor concerning moving forward with the pay plan? At this time, the two parts of the pay plan is a 10% increase at a cost of 5.1 million and 10-year at a cost of 3.1, but if you add them together, that ups the 10-year part of it to a total of 9.9. Is that right?
9.1.
9.1, I'm sorry. So committee members, do we want to include both of those? Do we want to ask him to go forward and talk to departments with just a 10% raise or something else?
Real options you got, and probably that you could either tell me to go forth with both and you'll get the revenue, or try to get the revenue, or you can, or we have, if people are willing to give up your growth, move the money out of interest, and interest income and some of the hotel motel tax, you could do the 10-year part. That's really two options I would really got.
Or to forget about it?
Okay.
Did you tell me next year's reappraisal year?
Next year is appraisal year, that is true.
And what does that do?
Reappraisal year, like the last time we were 251 to 190, and lower the tax rate to stay with certified rate. You could leave it up, some counties do that, they don't lower it all the way to gain extra revenue there. You can do that at that time too, but it is 2026 is
If that's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other.
property values go up and their tax rate will go up some too if you leave it halfway in the same city.
I hate to leave out of here and carry this next door next week, giving the employees false hope. I polled about half the commission and I can account for 12 no votes on any type of property tax increase. That's what the mayor called and asked us to do. I'm not saying we don't need to find money to give the raises, but I hate to carry it over there and it be beat. It's just the statement I'm making. Because it's gonna break their hearts.
Well, your vote today will break their heart. They already know. The employees are already watching. They know.
Well,
You are either gonna break their heart today or in a couple weeks. They know.
Give it a try.
Push it forward. Let us vote as a full commission on this.
Yep.
Do we need that in the form of a motion?
I really don't.
Okay.
I mean, all he was asking for, Doug, was yes.
Just discussion,
Okay.
this is just discussion.
But, okay, well, I need to, what's your comment?
No, I can't do it. I can't, I think we can manage another year. I do. Election or not, we can. Cause it'll be better with the reappraisals next year. And there'll be more. I'm sitting here looking at 16s that was started out at 43.87 and ended up being 35. Everybody asked for something, and that's how you do it. Instead of just one group.
Right.
Tommy?
I think the biggest comment that was made in that is, you know, if we was willing to try the 15 cents, the school superintendent told us plainly that he's gonna be standing at the door
So's that man
next.
over there.
What I do?
Nothing. And that guy.
And I appreciate his comment. That's very honest and open, and I appreciate that a lot, Jim.
Smith?
So we might as well,
I like what-
if you're willing to talk about a 15 cents, you better be talking about, you know, doubling or possibly even tripling that in the future, in the very near future.
I like what Mr. Chandler said, at least give everybody an opportunity to vote on it. So,
Carry it forward.
Is that what-
Sure. Oh,
yep.
we'll do that in this month. Not before, we're gonna skip,
So,
not even make it to budget.
the question is, we're carrying a 15 cent property tax increase forward?
No, I think what we're doing, what we're talking about now,
Uh-huh.
we'll present a plan down, make sure all department heads and elected officials sign off on that. That'll be ready to go. We'll know what the cost is, and then this will come up during budget time. It'll be-
Okay.
It'll be sourced out through budget time.
Okay,
Where everybody else has a seat at the table and all of that.
that works for me.
So yeah, we're not approving it separately. I just need you to guidance to know where to go for it or not, and they can look here.
I do have a question because we're in a little bit unique situation. We don't, we've been getting our growth to budget.
Same.
So, and with instructions to bring a status quo, how do I get it to the table if I bring a status quo budget?
Well, let me clarify what I said about taking leftover growth previously. That was just the general funds portion. I wasn't taking
Not
schools.
But still, if I take my growth
Yes.
and bring a status quo with my growth, when I know that we're talking property tax, I need to get it to the table. My board's gonna expect it to be at the table.
So,
Needs list.
We don't, I've got instructions on bringing these things.
so let's go back. That's not necessarily, so what we said in the beginning was when we would sit around the table and talk about needs list. The needs list was with the growth money that the county had, because we gave you yours and you spend yours like you wanted, and you bring me a status quo budget with your growth already spent. Because that's what we do here. We get status quo on everybody and then spend, and the budget committee decides where the growth money goes. And then anything on top of that, that would require a tax increase, you bring that to us extra, and that's what everybody else will be doing. Yeah, so that will come extra. Yeah. But we quit asking your needs list. because
And
we
I
get
appreciate
growth
that.
money.
I
Yeah.
mean, it'd
Well,
be
no,
great.
that was confusing.
It's allowed us to take care of our employees for the last 3 years because of that, and I appreciate that.
Allow them to, allow you to have it, so we don't go back and forth with two budgets. Yeah. Makes sense.
Let me ask this question so I understand. So we're gonna prepare a budget with this in it, depending on a 15 cent.
All I'm doing at this point is we're getting ready to have meetings with department heads over what that
And I
plan is
understand, but
going
we're
to look
talking
like.
about carrying it forward to the commission in the future. The budget time, that Mary just stated.
So
We've
what,
got funded something.
so what we'll do.
So
is-
do we need to vote on this prior to our budget? Is what I'm trying to say.
No, sir. We're still
Because
collecting
right
that.
now tonight, I would bet you anything that you're gonna bet, your budget will fail at that point.
So what we'll do, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we'll present a budget there that's a status quo budget with the step, 2% step that's there, everything else. And then when we go to approve anything on top of that, kind of like the needs list, okay? This would come under needs. Are you willing to fund a pay plan through the needs? And then anything else that anybody brings, that will be handled during the budget needs list time. But we'll have a status quo budget ready to go, and whatever you wanna add and whatever you wanna fund will be added during those budget meetings when we do needs list after we hear from all department heads, and that's when he will make his pitch for, here's my status quo, and here's what I want on top of that. And that's when we sit around and try to figure out, okay, how do we make ends meet, and how do we make it work, and put the sheets together.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask? So the plan is move forward with getting the figure
Yes, sir.
and then coming back before this committee at a later date. Is that right?
When we do budget meetings.
When we do budget meetings. Because believe me, our employees are gonna ask, when are these meetings? And it's gotta come back before this budget committee first. And then maybe possibly on to the full commission, which is, let them make the decision. We'll go from there.
So you got, in February, I sent you a calendar out of when these budget meetings are, so it's
I'm
on,
just talking about this one particular set of circumstances with the pay stub.
and it will be folded into the needs.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Correct. Yeah, you'll look at just be an item on the needs list, so you'll decide to fund or not to fund.
Still looks like we're getting the cart before the horse, but maybe if we don't have a revenue source to fund it,
We know.
it just looks like we're going at it from a backward approach to me.
I think
And
it's
we need to
forward
find the
approach.
revenue, and then we can do it.
So the
Well,
only
you
thing
can't
that
vote
we're
for a
doing is-
tax increase without knowing what you're voting on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we just gotta figure it.
But I also want to know what the
No.
schools
So you gotta wait for the schools and sheriff and Lehman's.
But now I'm talking about our pay plan right now.
But
Why go forward with designing the pay plan, giving false hopes, and no money to back it?
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. Let's find the revenue to back it, then we can design it. It looks like we're putting the cart before the horse to me.
The only thing that we're doing different is that we're going to meet with the sheriff, with Joey, and everybody to say, here's what the pay plan says that everybody will get with the tenure and with the 10% table. Are you guys good with that? And just make sure it's right, and then we have a solid number of what that is. So that's all we're doing. So if you tell me, hey, look, don't even go, let's wait till let's take this number that's a guesstimate, and then if you approve it, then we go out and meet and make sure he's okay, and do that. I mean, we can do it afterwards.
But if we go and ask for a 15-cent property tax increase and we pass it, that tells you how much revenue you have to work with, and you have to design a pay plan that will work within that number. Correct, Darren?
Yeah.
I mean,
If
To
we,
me, it's just, it's simple, but I guess I'm missing a step.
Well, what we've always tried to do is when we bring you the needs, bring you the exact cost. And when we do the pay plan, they go out and they come up with what these figures are, okay, based on what they've looked in the market. But then sometimes that gets adjusted because it's not necessarily what these folks want, or we just try to make sure that that is right, because they're not driving the train. Our people are driving the train, you are driving the train. So we work through that piece together with them to get a solid number. Is it 9.1, is it 8.2, is it 10.2, but that gets the exact number. But if you say, hey, look, if you're telling me tonight, hey, let's don't go do that until we get through the budget time, then we won't go out. Just know the pay plan will be, we'll start out with 2% bump and that's it. And then when we get the pay plan finished with that money, then it'll be retroactive, of course, but we can do that afterwards. That's okay too. This is really not formality, but it is, we want to make sure everybody's on the same page. This is what captains make, this is what they hire people at, that's what that piece is. But if you say, hey, look, y'all want me to wait till the dust settles and then go out and do that meeting, I can do that.
I think it's important for our community to see what all of our department's needs are. They don't get to see that if you let it die today.
Well, I'm not necessarily wanting to say let it die today. I'm saying, like y'all said, let's put it before the commission and vote on it.
Yeah, but
And-
if we let it go forward, we get to see what the needs are after the mayor meets with everyone on how to properly pay people. We get to hear from the schools and see what director of schools needs, right? And what he may need to properly pay his teachers and staff. That goes in front of the full commission, and it is on view for everyone. They get to see who votes yea or nay on the county's needs.
I can agree with that.
And it's transparent and it's open.
that piece is gonna happen, and what you're talking about is gonna happen no matter what. The only thing that we're talking about is, okay, Sheriff wants you to look at this pay plan, or you give a dip. I mean, that's the only thing he's telling me not to do.
Yeah, I guess I'm afraid with, if something happens today where it doesn't move forward,
No, it's moving forward.
It's moving forward.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's
we'll,
moving
we'll be able to vote on what our employees need at budget time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The only thing I'm not doing is not, if they direct me, is not going over there and taking the plan that Beth has worked on as far as what everybody's making and running that by the sheriff. She's got it done. And I can wait and do that afterwards when you fund it.
Okay,
which is-
that
Which
misunderstood.
is okay. Thank you. He'll have his discussion then, as Tommy said, if y'all said 15 cents is all I got, then everybody has to work with 15 cents, on the pay plan figures. But that's all I would not be doing. Everything else is coming before you, according to what they just told me.
Any other business needs to come before the committee, or is there any other comments that need to be made?
Oh, change your hand. Oh, you was just grabbing a chair.
One other motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
But as long as it's not.
Thank you.